Okay, here we are, March the 16th, and with a long overdue update on the Jarrett home. So late in the afternoon here, we're just wrapping up, and there's our gate entry, almost finished here, just with some electrical stuff to do yet. But anyways, this was the interesting design that was worked out with Pam and Michael. And what you're seeing there in the wood, this is Corteza, also known as ironwood and also known as EP to other people. So this is, laminated. And the one thing with ironwood, aside from it being very hard, or because of it being very hard, it is also extremely durable in the outdoor weather. Left unfinished, it will actually last out in 40 years, and it's often used as fence posts or old bridge decks. If you're off in the backwoods someplace, Costa Rica, you find an old bridge deck, that is what it's made out of. Now, with a finish kept on it, its life and expectancy, in essence, I would say is an eternity if it's got a raincoat kept on it. Now, the neighbor, there was one lot above this property, and they just started this week, came in and cut down two big old guanacoste trees and started moving all of the earth. We have basically finished off the major water control around the house with our stonework gutters. Just have a little bit up by the swimming pool to do. Now, lots of material has come in since we last reported. And of course, perfect order is we brought the roofing in just a week ago, since there was a truck coming down with another load of the Icon roofing, now made, originally done in Toronto, now set up. And this is the slate, dark gray, black slate style of roofing that will be going on as their election. This is extremely tough. It's a recycled, it's a composite, so it's basically, look at it, it's basically sand and recycled plastic mixed together with some other additives to create a very durable roof. Now the panels are all sitting here ready to go. We were just waiting for some flooring to come in, or our structure for our floor. And as well, on that same truck, this is a load of OSB flooring brought in from Florida because you can't find it anywhere in this country. Now this is all of our glue lamb floor joists. We just started putting them together. That came in about 1 o'clock this afternoon. And we have completed all of our column works and tie togethers. They want these tie beams going between our columns so as to prevent movement of any columns in a severe earthquake, and with what they call liquefaction, when basically vibrating dirt will turn into something more like quicksand. So this prevents stuff from moving around because it's basically all tied together. We have these steel plates welded into the structure of the columns, and this serves another purpose, and it lifts the wood off of the concrete. Wood and concrete do not play well together, especially in this high humidity environment. I just noticed the other day, we went home one night and I looked at my humidistat in the house, and it was 31 degrees Celsius and 67% humidity. Now this is the driest time of the year, hottest, driest time. We're sneaking in on Easter here. Easter is where it always peaks out. Anyway, now this is all, and this is something that kind of gets my goat when people talk about building to, of course, American standards. And it says, yeah, well, for a lot that means stainless steel appliances and granite countertops. That is not an American standard. That's fluff. Here's a perfect example. You can see the thickness. This is what's called SDR 26. This is what code calls for here. And all of the fittings here are what they call grueso, or thick fittings. Not most of the stuff that's in the ferretry is literally garbage. This right here is a vent that's venting this particular. This is the toilet right beside it. This is going up in a wall to vent that line. And there is another one over here that's basically ready, installed there, ready to vent this whole line. Now with this elevated floor system, what we've done is we've kept all of the plumbing under the deck of the house, and very importantly at a 2% slope, using good pipe as it disappears and heads on its way out onto the septic tank, which will be coming in next week. So we'll be doing a session on that nasty little subject of shit and what we're doing with it. But interestingly, I usually order these direct from the manufacturer, but they missed a couple of Y's on my list, and I went to go get some from the local ferreteria, and I estimate from the dust on them, they dug them out of the bodega down below, and it had 3 to 5 years of dust. Meaning nobody has bought from them heavy duty fittings in the last 3 to 5 years. So this means that literally everybody is buying from them is buying what I would fundamentally call crap. Any rate, because what's happened is that, what they call the sanitary grade is delicate when it's installed and new. Well, if you come back to do something 5 years, believe me, then it's like plumbing with crystal, and that, in my opinion, sooner or later will come back to bite an owner in the butt. Now, one of the advantages of this, of course, this pipe is underneath the house, yet in a crawl space. So if you needed access to it, it's accessible. But also underneath the house means somebody out in the garden is not going to run something through it, like a gardener or whatnot. Anyways, that's so we just got a nice start with the floor joists today. The bodega, or small bodega here, basically has all been finished, except we haven't put a roof on it yet. But the panels are all stuccoed in, not quite with the acrylic stucco finish on top of that. The post down at the gate there, that was all stuccoed with the acrylic, and that's the only way to stop stuff from growing on anything that's cement base. Now this is all of the basic plumbing lines have been done to service the pool. Now this looks like, first of all, we've got 10 jets in this pool. There is 5 in the sidewall here pushing out over the infinity, and there's 5 in the floor itself. So hence our issue here is how to get good filtration in the pool, and has become more and more in modern day pools is what do? We want to get a turnover of water a day, and we want to run the pump as long as possible and with the least flow. so that you're also consuming the least amount of power if the pump is running low, except for when you're wanting to push out over the infinity, for example. But with that, if you got a row of 5 jets going down the wall here, well, if you run that all in one line, by the time you get to the other end, there is not much left. As we say, the hind tit is going to basically start. So what I do is I take a line and then I start splitting it out. So the 3 closest jets are on one pipe, as you might see through the top here. But there's a secondary line. I split this out right here. There's a secondary line and run that down to the furthest 2. So the 2 furthest are only 2 in one line, and the 3 closest are 3 all in one. And then notice nothing is ever an elbow. Everything at most turns 45 degrees as the most. Here where we had a weird change of angle to get over to the pump, that we used flex hose to make a nice gentle curve to make that change. And you can see down there where these are running down and going underneath the floor, as was in the early swimming pool session. Now we've also basically tarred the outside wall here, because I mean it's bone dry here right now, but I assure you it will not stay that way. So the idea is to create a perfectly dry wall, that you have no water coming from this side going in, and we have nothing coming from the pool going out. There is weeping tile, or as many American friends know it as French drain. I have no idea what the heck is French about it. Will go down here so that there is no water pooling in this cavity after it's filled in, and we're in full rainy season now. So that will give it an exit out. We just put in 2 columns here to support the ladder access to the pool. We still have a few more to do. We got a bunch of dirt to move around and massage here. This is anything but its last finished process, and we just had our 4-week anniversary yesterday. So now this cement is fully cured. Just need to go into Perez and find out what our final test results were, but it was headed towards 4,200 pound concrete, or 290 kilograms per square centimeter. So basically we're set to start on our platform of the house, and I see I'm at whopping 13 minutes of yammering on, but anyways, the infinity reserve is here. We still have our tarp up, of course, to keep ourselves somewhat cooled down at this hot time of the year. Anyways, there's the infinity reserve, and I was just chasing down the rock today. So this is going to get a rock face put on it where where the fall comes down into the infinity there, and that side extends up, and we'll have some more stone above the water level on the other side. So now this is ready for an impermeable to make sure that that concrete does stay nice and dry in the wall itself. Anyways, that kind of covers what's been going on over the last month. It's time to get the backhoe back in once we have our septic tanks, and the dirt that comes out of the holes of the septic tanks will be what is used to fill in around the pool here, now that, as I said, all of our plumbing is basically done. All we have is a couple of holes here. You can see one. These are our lights that have these new LED small lights that just slide into a 2-inch tube that will provide lighting to the pool. But anyways, other than that, all the plumbing is done except in the equipment room, and putting the final jets and floor registers in the pool itself.